everybody, it's Anna. Time for a new tarot story this week. We start with the Tuesday card, and for that we have the Queen of Swords reversed. So swords are connected to the mind. They're about ideas and beliefs, strategies, as well as ways of communicating. And the Queen is the expansive principle of the court cards. So she's the energy that kind of broadens her influence and kind of draws more people or draws more of the world into the effect of her influence. So this then is the expansive principle of the mind. If we turn it upright, we can see the Queen sits on her throne, one hand with a sword and the other, her hand stretched out. So she's inviting us to come forward, but her other hand has the sword. So the function of this Queen is to free up the mind. I see her as sort of slicing away old ideas, old beliefs, anything that's getting in the way of us moving in our greatest expansion and abundance. So she's a surgeon. She figures out what needs to go and then cuts it off. She's not very warm and snuggly. Like that, the swords are about the mind, so they're about logic and reason and focus. So really, this is a strategy. It's basically like what I want to get, where do I want to accomplish, what I want to get to, what's in the way. We cut it right off. So she's very into like getting rid of attachments and things that our heart may say, oh, well, you know, this connection is important. And she says, no, it's not helpful. So she cuts it off. So when she's upright, it suggests to me that we are being offered that kind of freeing energy of the mind. When it's reversed, it can mean a lot of things. But for this tarot story, I'm going to say it's an overly critical view of us. It's as though the Queen is looking at us as though we are a problem she is trying to solve. So that is not what you want the mind to do. You want the mind to address problems that come up when they're in the way of your path, but you don't want to think of yourself as problematic. You know how we always talk about families being dysfunctional? I mean, what does that even mean? It suggests that there is a functionality and we're not functioning. Truthfully, if you're living, you're functioning. So it's not about dysfunction or function. It's about like loss of energy or loss of flow. Maybe you're looking at how to get into better flow, but that's something we do for our whole lives. It's not a problem to be solved. It's what we accomplish in living. So when the Queen is overly focused on what is wrong with us, we get the impression that we have to constantly be working on ourselves, which is a problem I think does come up with people who are in the spiritual path or really any path. Because if you keep looking for problems, you will keep finding problems. And then your experience of life feels very heavy and very judgy. There's not much joy in that, right? So this suggests to me that the Queen is seeing us as though we are a problem she is trying to solve. She's just hacking away at us. And this feels like judgment. It doesn't feel like freedom. When it's upright, you get free of these things and you can move with greater confidence, greater energy and intention. When it's reversed, you're just getting beat up all the time. So this is the voice in us that is theoretically trying to be helpful, but it's actually just telling us how bad we are. Actually, I had this conversation with my husband this morning because we do a Facebook Live every morning of the week. He's a pastor, so we do it for his church. And he was talking about focusing on what he's doing wrong, like making that a practice. And I had said, if you make it a practice to look at what you're doing wrong, that is inherently a less productive vibration because it's negative. It's looking at us as though we're a problem when inherently, according to the Christian teachings, we are unconditionally loved. Our identity is not in being a mess. Our identity is in being unconditionally loved. Right? That doesn't mean that we're not going to keep making adjustments and alignments and healings as we walk on our path, but basically we're doing that so we can receive love more properly. So the goal of being a human is not to be functional or to work on dysfunction. It is to get better and better at being loved, letting ourselves be loved. And if you're judging yourself constantly, you're telling yourself you're not very lovable. So that's the challenge I see we're starting this week off with is the Queen of Wands reverse, that judgment. This is not actually helpful energy. It's trying to be helpful, maybe purporting to be helpful because it's trying to straighten us out and get us to fly right. But it is working against the experience of love and the vibration of joy. And those are the really high vibrations that really propel us forward. So you might want to take a moment to look at where this is showing up for you, where you're buying into it, and begin to challenge, is this really what you want going on in your head? See you tomorrow for our next card. Bye.